YouTubers, I want to welcome you to another edition of Bargain Bin Gear. And hope you've been subscribing and following the channel. I often refer to older videos. And last week we did a part 1 of I finally did it, and I removed this couch to make more space for all these amps and things. However, in doing so, I made some discoveries that I knew about but didn't really want to admit. Okay, and first off is using two deluxe reverbs, right? Here's the Fender Deluxe Reverb 65 reissue, also known as the DDRI. And really discovering how really great sounding they are. I mean, it's really the sound I've been looking for. Whenever I try an amp, I always base it off of that. I guess it's a classic Fender blackface clean sound. Yeah, that's kind of big. To me, I really like that sound. It's got a lot of bass, lots of low end. So that's the Fender Deluxe Reverb. Like that Fender Deluxe Reverb just has a really nice smooth sound, you know. Alright, and we can take a look at it over here. Alright, so it's 22 watt amp. The real only con about it is that it's kind of expensive. Right, now, here's the thing. I set up my room and then tried out some other amps. In fact, 3 different kinds of other amps. A pair of Bulgara V22s. They're actually quite inexpensive amps, about, man, half the price or even less than the Fender Deluxe Reverb. And then we have the Black Star HT Club 40. Tried those. And even the PB Classic 30. Right, so I've tried all these amps. And here's the thing. As I compared the amps, right, well, I kept comparing them to the Deluxe Reverb. And these 3 amps, the PB Classic 30, the Bulgara V22, and the Black Star HT Club 40, all sounded pretty good, you know. But they didn't have this kind of a, hard to describe, kind of smoothness of the Fender Deluxe Reverbs. Right? I found no matter what I did, I could approach the sound, but not quite get that sound. You know, or the Black Star was very dark. The Bulgara was kind of bright, actually, but didn't have that sweet sound of the Deluxe Reverb. And then the PB Classic 30 is kind of a, you know, pretty dry sound, doesn't have the sparkle of the Deluxe Reverb. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like all the amps, you know. However, the more I thought about it, every time I was playing the PB or the Bulgara or the Black Star, right, I often found myself saying, well, gosh, you know, I could be playing the Deluxe Reverb, which really has the sound that I want, which comes down to this. You know, considering I've got pairs of these amps, and in fact, the Black Star HT Club 40, I've got 4 of those. However, I've been thinking, and stop me now, you know, I mean, you can put it in your comments, you have a better idea, but I've been thinking of selling all the amps except for the Deluxe Reverb. Now, keep in mind, I've got 3 of the Deluxe Reverbs, right? 2 in my living room studio and 1 in my studio room, okay? So, and I like to use them in pairs in stereo, right? Which means I'd have to get 1 more of the Deluxe Reverbs, and that's quite an expensive proposition. However, if I sold these other amps, right, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with them, right? I mean, they all sound pretty good, especially for their price points. You know, the Bulgara is an unbelievable deal. But they, you know, I prefer the Deluxe Reverb more. And to be quite honest, the reason why I don't play it more often is I'm afraid. I'm scared. And what am I scared about? Well, the Fender Deluxe Reverb has a lot of tubes in it, you know. And these are tubes that could go bad at some point. However, as I've been playing it over time, you know, I just haven't had that issue at all, which I thought I would. You know, I was terrified that. And I thought, man, it's going to make this amp so fragile number of tubes, you know. But so far that hasn't been the case at all. So, you know, and sometimes I like to alternate between the amps, you know, playing one day the deluxe reverb, the next the Bugera, for example. However, what I discovered is, man, when you put them side by side, unfortunately these other amps just don't quite compare to the deluxe reverb, you know, which I really enjoy playing. I mean, it makes chords sound really good and things. So I'm thinking maybe I should sell some of these and part with them. And again, not because they're bad amps, but just because I prefer the sound of the deluxe reverb, you know. Anyway, something to consider. Sorry, maybe. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play pretty much the same thing, at least close to it, on my on all four of these amps. And we'll start with the deluxe reverb, if MIDI will allow me to play MIDI. Okay. MIDI. Okay. Hold on a second. Here's the Fender Deluxe Reverb 65 reissue, also known as the DDRI. So here's the deluxe reverb. Okay, now here's the same thing, but this time we're playing through a pair of Bugera V22s, which is the least expensive amp in the lineup, if you like. This is the Bugera V22, the least expensive of the four amps. So let's take a listen to that. Okay. Okay, now here's the Black Star HT Club 40s. Here's a Black Star HT Club 40. Okay, now here's the HT Club 40 by Black Star. got a pair of PV Classic 30s. This is the PV Classic 30 watt tube amp. And it starts like this. And here's the back of the Bugera V22. I'm not sure, what is that? What is this? MIDI! What are you doing in there? MIDI. Okay, so basically I've tried these 4 amps out. And thus far, I have to say the deluxe reverb, as I mentioned, probably comes out on top, right? It's the big cheese, the A number 1. And then beyond that, I was surprised, always am surprised, that the Bugera V22 does quite well. And yet it's the least expensive amp there is out of these 4. And then probably then the PV Classic 30, what I notice about it, it doesn't have much low end, right? So that may be something to consider. And then the Black Star, which is very strange because it has a great sound just because it's such a big amp. And at 40 watts, I mean, you can really hear the difference. However, I can't say it sounds like a real tube amp, you know? Sometimes it sounds kind of solid state-ish, or like a hybrid kind of amp. Very interesting. So, to this point, I haven't made a decision yet at what to keep and what to sell. However, I mean, if I was to be pressed on it at this moment anyway, get rid of the Black Stars and the PVs. You know, and the Bugeras are such a deal. Might as well keep those. And of course the deluxe reverbs. But we'll see. You know, you can leave your comments below. Tell me what you think of these 4 amps. Alright, very good. See you next time. Okay. Bye.